Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and charm and gaiety to life and to everything. Democracy is a charming form of government, full of variety and disorder, and dispensing a sort of equality to equals and unequals alike. A hero is born among 100, a wise man is found among 1,000, but an accomplished one might not be found even among 100,000 men. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most shameful and vile. Dictatorship naturally arises out of democracy, and the most aggravated form of tyranny and slavery out of the most extreme liberty. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Human behavior flows from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. The beginning is the most important part of the work. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Love is a serious mental disease. We are twice armed if we fight with faith. The measure of a man is what he does with power. People are like dirt. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. Justice in the life and conduct of the state is possible only as first it resides in the hearts and souls of the citizens. There are two things a person should never be angry at: what they can help, and what they cannot. The man who makes everything that leads to happiness depends upon himself, and not upon other men, has adopted the very best plan for living happily. This is the man of moderation, the man of manly character and of wisdom. Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. At the touch of a lover, everyone becomes a poet. There are three classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. Music is the movement of sound, to reach the soul for the education of its virtue. Honesty is for the most part less profitable than dishonesty. Nothing in the affairs of men is worthy of great anxiety. Death is not the worst that can happen to men. The punishment which the wise suffer, who refuse to take part in the government, is to live under the government of worse men. All men are by nature equal, made all of the same earth by one workman, and however we deceive ourselves, as dear unto God is the poor peasant as the mighty prince. To prefer evil to good is not in human nature, and when a man is compelled to choose one of two evils, no one will choose the greater when he might have the less. All the gold, which is under or upon the earth is not enough to give in exchange for virtue. The excessive increase of anything causes a reaction in the opposite direction. If a man neglects education, he walks lame to the end of his life. There is no harm in repeating a good thing. Knowledge becomes evil if the aim be not virtuous. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future in life. To be sure I must, and therefore I may assume, that your silence gives consent. Any man may easily do harm, but not every man can do good to another. Astronomy compels the soul to look upwards, and leads us from this world to another. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. Justice means minding one's own business, and not meddling with other men's concerns. For good nurture and education, implant good constitutions. Love is the joy of the good, the wonder of the wise, the amazement of the gods. Let parents bequeath to their children not riches, but the spirit of reverence. Truth is the beginning of every good to the gods, and of every good to man. Knowledge without justice ought to be called cunning rather than wisdom. He who is of calm and happy nature will hardly feel the pressure of age, but to him who is of an opposite disposition, youth and age are equally a burden. The rulers of the state are the only persons who ought to have the privilege of lying, either at home or abroad. They may be allowed to lie for the good of the state. Ignorance of all things is an evil neither terrible nor excessive, nor yet the greatest of all, but great cleverness and much learning, if they be accompanied by a bad training, are a much greater misfortune. The God of love lives in a state of need. It is a need. It is an urge. It is a homeostatic imbalance. Like hunger and thirst, it's almost impossible to stamp out. When there is an income tax, the just man will pay more and the unjust less on the same amount of income. Excess of liberty, whether it lies in state or individuals, seems only to pass into excess of slavery. He who steals a little, steals with the same wish as he who steals much, but with less power. We do not learn, and what we call learning is only a process of recollection. To love rightly is to love what is orderly and beautiful in an educated and disciplined way. There's a victory and defeat, the first and best of victories, the lowest and worst of defeats which each man gains or sustains at the hands not of another, but of himself. Apply yourself both now and in the next life. Without effort, you cannot be prosperous. Though the land be good, you cannot have an abundant crop without cultivation.